Greetings.
We are not frozen. This is good.
We've had issues trying to get our software going, which I know nothing about.
No.
I'm so tired.
You are. Good evening. Welcome to the Doc Evening Drinking Podcast.
We were meant to do day drinking yesterday, but I did too much day drinking.
Yeah, smidge.
And we had constant visitors and guests, and none of them
want to be on a podcast.
would want to be on a podcast. They're all holding out for Rogan.
The wood ferret might. No, he's holding out for Rogan.
But yes, so anyway, here we are. Don't know where to start.
The bar. How about I summarise what happened at the bar?
Yeah, all right. That's more interesting than me talking about it.
And I wasn't, because I wasn't there. The bar on Saturday night had two charming young men come in, not even buy a drink, and decide to vandalise the joint. So they then walked out into the hallway and started trying all the doors of all the other establishments. They managed to break a door open on one of them, like a security guard door, and then they tried to smash through a glass door, shoulder through it.
I prefer attempted break and enter.
Oh, sorry, attempted. Yes, attempted break and enter. Then they proceeded to kung fu kick one of our hallway dividers with both feet off the floor, like I'm talking, jumped up and smashed it with both feet. Then they tried to get into the storeroom and the fire escape. Then they decided that they liked the look of one of the posters of a woman's head on a wall and tried to stick their cock on it and lick it. So delightful charmers that these two are. Then they decided that they'd had enough and they'd run down the hallway, but before they left they thought they'd steal our crowd management chain thing that we've got to stop people going upstairs. And was that it? Have I missed anything?
That's it in a nutshell. And
then they decided
this all happened in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. They ran in like fuckwits. Anyway, and then you proceeded to pull down the camera footage because one of our guys said, I hate to tell you this, but we've had two dickheads in here. So you pulled down the footage and got them all on camera doing everything, and then you proceeded to post it up on our Facebook, which is very helpful because Launceston is a small place, and said, if anyone would like to pass along the names of these two charmers, that would be most helpful because there is upwards of $1,000 worth of damage that needs to be recompensed.
So I've already priced, I would say 800, and let's round it up to the
nearest.
And
needless to say, we got their names. They're of age. They're adults again.
Just.
They're 18-year-olds. So
Yep. So I've already invoiced them for the simple stuff, which is $850. But so the funny thing is, of course, so we put up the videos, and one of their mothers commented, and she's taken over. She's counsel. Apparently, I threatened them. And so I certainly had, because one of them did call me.
Yes, one of them got in contact with you after he obviously saw himself on Facebook.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And we had what would be described as a robust discussion, and it was certainly fairly one-sided, with me explaining my disappointment.
Yeah, as I said to you, I'd be pissed off too if the person who's just vandalised my place rings me.
But apparently, based off that, they made a police report about me.
Because you're the bad person here, not the two charmers that ran in and vandalised the building.
It is right up there, I think, with them. Your dope gets stolen, you're reporting. I'd like to report a theft, and then it's like, okay,
anyway,
brainiac. So anyway, so that's why I'm a bit flake. So I've had no sleep because I didn't have much sleep that night because I was just out, and then. Last night I just had the shit, so I didn't sleep very well, and I'd also, it's like being jet lagged. You're up till 3 a.m, and then the next night
can't quite get back to
sleep. So
just describing what happened and trying not to.
So that's being factual.
Inflate it too much.
But what is going to be amusing is that yes, 850 so far, but this video shows one of these Mensa members basically trying to shoulder through a large piece of plate glass, which he cracked badly. It beggars belief that he didn't go through it, and if he went through it, we'd be having a very different conversation now.
Bled out, I reckon.
He would have absolutely... The chances of him being significantly damaged would be near 100%.
Yep.
So for those listening, we're talking about a piece of...
it's an old door.
It's a 1970. We know how old it is because when we had some doors changed there, the guy that originally did the work came in and did it, and he was a master glazier and a hunter, and very, very interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
And he had done this work in 1978. And I said to him, last year when he did this door work for us, it's like, well, there's a nice bit of symmetry, because he said he was right at the beginning of his career and now he's right at the end of it, doing the same bloody work.
Mm-hmm.
And a master glazier, one of the few in Australia. Apparently, there's only a few, and this guy, really was it was interesting watching him work. Anyway, this piece of glass this kid was bouncing up against would be 2 meters by nearly 2 meters high
by a metre wide,
more than a metre wide.
Yeah.
It's a big piece of glass,
door.
and it's not tempered glass.
No, it's old glass.
This is why it's behind the concertina door
the security
door
that they broke
open, and he bounced off that thing 3 times trying to go through it. If he went through it, the chances of him getting killed would be better than 50%.
Yep.
Much better. And the chances of him being
impaled himself.
What he would have done...
He would have fallen forward.
Depends on how much of it went, but he would have gone through. He definitely would have lost his hamstrings. Because I doubt the glass would have gone through.
I reckon it would have gone straight through his guts.
It would have cut... Well, what I think it would do is would have cut the back of his legs. He would have fallen through it, and his legs would have went straight down, and it would just eviscerate his legs, depending on if he got the femoral artery but he'd certainly cut everything. Massive damage there, and then the glass above, if that fell down, he'd be dead. And does the glass go down in bits and he gets one in the neck or in the side as he goes down? I mean, he would have been a fucking blood sprinkler, and I would have found it.
What's the word I'm looking for?
What's the superlative?
Calm as a bitch.
I would have found it. Well, it definitely would have ended up on expensive accidents on Twitter.
It'd be really interesting.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So
we don't have that very often. Someone bleeding out in the hallway when they've thrown themselves
the hilarity,
through a glass door.
Of course, with all these sorts of things, you worry about liability. And what we did when we went and got advice, because we went and got legal advice as a part of doing this bar, and one of the things was because we wanted to have an idea about negligence, and the advice we got was that it's Australia, it's not America. You have to be doing something. You have to actually be negligent, and anything in Tasmania, it's going to require people are dancing on the tables and you don't tell them to stop, or you ask them to change a light bulb for you, and while you're there and put a chair on top of the thing. It's like saying it's got to be really, really egregious.
Don't throw yourself through a glass plate door.
So I'm concerned about, because there is a lot of old glass in this old building that we're in, and there's a lot of old glass all through Launceston. The place is fucking colonial, right? But in the case of where we have actually put something there, and you see them go, you've seen them go to break, so you had to shoulder charge this thing to get through it, and then repeatedly try and shove his way, suicide. So anything else, absolute Darwin, absolute Darwin Award nominee. If he went through it, no questions. Dear listener,
he's not curing cancer.
He's not. We can live without this one.
Yeah.
And you just up one car in traffic the next day. That's the only positive that guy would actually produce.
Scrape him up, mop the floor. No one will notice. apart from his mother, who thinks he doesn't do anything wrong.
So there was two of them, and one of their mothers seems to be representing both of them. And I did enjoy sending her the thing because she said, "My son," because one of them's definitely more. One of them's
more culpable than the other.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. One of them's the hands-on guy,
But the other guy keeps telling him what to do.
The other guy keeps telling him what to do.
Yeah. So the moron who was trying to
kill himself
through the glass, he's the one being told what to do by the other one.
Yeah.
So clearly he's the brains of the outfit.
So you could argue that the other one who's trying to kill his friend...
He's more culpable, yeah, perhaps.
You could argue that one. So, but anyway. What's going to be interesting with this, and the reason I mention it, what's going to be interesting with this glass door is that I don't think in a pink fit they're going to be able to change that glass. Because
I think it's a one-off.
Well, let me put it this way to you. Can they remove the beading and take out that piece of glass and replace it? Absolutely. Every day of the week, you'd be talking about $1,000 job.
As a single piece of glass, they could take it out.
Oh no, they'd cut it. Like what I'm saying is, could you repair that door as a glazier?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right, okay.
No problem. I could do it.
Yep.
No problem. No problem at all. Right? Could you legally do it? No. No way. No way. So the glass that you have to replace it with. So another friend of ours, friend of a friend, who is a glazier, does maintenance. He said even the small panels near doors,
like front doors
on Federation residential things, they're not allowed to use coloured glass that isn't laminated. So anything, and that's talking about like the thin panes of coloured glass that go around like a door. So when I'm talking about, 2.5 square metres of murder glass, there's no way they're going to be able to do that.
They're in for a shock of how much they're going to be up for.
I would estimate that
the
door would be, I can say for a guarantee it's going to be at least $5,000. And I'd say, because they're going to have to remove that display panel thing is going to have to come out.
Because the door slides too. It's not
in
an
a cavity.
Opening door. Yeah, it's in a cavity.
It's a cavity slider, so they're going to have to remove all of that. It's thousands of dollars. We're going to end up in court on this because they're going to balk, and I'm going to go, so I'm going to do the whole, I don't know, I am not a lawyer, you're more a lawyer than I am, but it will basically be like the eggshell skull defence if it's, so do you remember that one from law?
Yes. So
I think it'll be the almost the retail equivalent. It's like, I'm sorry that the door is vintage. Like the door, as it is legal. When it is damaged and needs to be replaced, it becomes illegal. And to make it back to code, you need a new door. And new doors now are $5,000 to $10,000. So we've got exactly the same sort of door that we had, and I nearly died when I got the quote.
Yeah.
Because I think the original quote we got was like 6.5, and this is just for a single sliding
door,
commercial sliding door. So like just one sliding door, not automatic.
Not automatic.
That's another $5,000.
We didn't want. Couldn't afford that. Didn't want that.
So we basically said to this guy, we did it.
What's your best price?
Yeah, I just said. So I think we got a. It was like 6.5 or something. And I said, if $5,000 is the best I can do, if you can somehow sharpen your pencil, I'll be your labourer. Like I'll pitch in. And I'll be your labourer and get it done.
But as I said, these two young gentlemen are learning a very expensive lesson, and they are going to balk at it because they're young and they don't have any money, but Mum's stuck her nose in it and some other guy's stuck his nose in it, so they're going to have to get a loan, aren't they? Because you shouldn't be a dickhead. But
I just thought it was hilarious. Like the quote from her was like saying, we've spoken to the police and the police say
they tried to turn it back
we should be doing it the proper way, and that you're not to pay me any money and blah 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 blah. And I'm going, that the irony, which I never said to her, which I was going to, but I said too much anyway, but still, it's just like the irony, you stupid woman. The proper way is that same nice policeman charging those two boys with attempted burglary and willful damage and
public nuisance,
and stealing,
drunken disorderly, and whatever the fuck else they put on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
She kept banging on about we need to do this the proper way, and you're not doing it the proper way, and blah blah blah. It's like,
and I said sleep on it.
Yeah, we tried. As I say, you tried to keep it private, i.e., be a man, pay for the damage.
Yeah.
Both of you.
And I'd already said to her, because I said to her on the phone, I said, you owe me at least $1,500.
Yeah, it's going to be at least.
And I hadn't even thought...
And they balked at that. No, you're trying to get too much money out of it.
Well, that's what she used the blackmail, which said, you're blackmailing. I mean, that's where I was obnoxious and rode around and say, listen, sweetheart, it's Dr. Bradley Goldsmith, and $1,500 is lunch money. I'm not trying to
we spend our weekends blackmailing dumb 18-year-olds in Tasmania.
I've got two morons dead to rights for attempted burglary, and you think I'm going to... You think
They're having a whale of a time trying to break into everything. Yeah, it's us.
But we did imagine in some amazing universe, he did smash through that glass. Amazing. It turns out it's spun sugar. You know, he's lived a charmed life. They get in there. Could you imagine what they would have done in that shop?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they would have done in a shop full of sex toys.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, they're just...
And then,
I can't even call them delinquents because they're adults.
Yeah. And then, so what's hilarious is the person that...
Just grow up. What's wrong
runs
with you?
that shop was in the security business. The person that owns the shop is in the pub adult shop.
Colourful local character.
Well, as he was described today by the good Dr. Feelgood, which is what our friend there likes to call himself, he's a retired businessman.
I like that. That's good.
Which was funny with me because yes, they were on the phone. And he's like, "Do I need? My godson is in Launceston. Perhaps he needs to go and talk to these young lads and explain to them the error of their way." and Dr. Feelgood's going, "No. Brad's across that." And he said the quote's coming, and he said, "I'd like to," because that's where G came out and goes. He said he would like to thank you, Dr. Goldsmith, for your prompt and kind attention to this matter. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you. I said, could you please relay to Mr. X that I am grateful that he is calm and comfortable with me executing these simple.
Yes.
No problem. I can't remember, but it was flowery. I wasn't so tired then, and said I'm quite very glad he's comfortable, and I will do my very best to.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. It's like you think you're a big swinging dick, do you? These two 18-year-olds. You have no idea whose stuff you're messing with. Like you shouldn't. No. It's not yours. Don't touch it.
I said that to one of them. I said, you better hope. I said, you've got no idea who owns that shop, and you better hope he lets me deal with it for your sakes.
But again, you don't know, leave other people's shit alone. Well, Mother of the Year didn't teach you very well.
Well, to say nothing of just pissing us off.
Just
we're really good at paperwork.
Yeah,
and I will, and I'm not making. And that's the irony of it. It's like I've spent today. I had to go into town. I've had to go and look at it. I've had to smooth it over with two gangsters, basically a little one and a big one, to make sure that someone doesn't accidentally drop a can on these kids' heads, because even then he said, don't tell me their names.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to. And he's going, good, because I don't want old mate to sort of go, oh, maybe I'll mention, just ask around and then have someone, because he said, which I know, apparently he is literally the godfather to every crook in Hobart.
Awesome.
So he's saying,
I found him to be very polite.
He said he's literally the godfather to
he's
hundreds of young, interesting,
colourful
characters. And it's like
anyway. So that was the weekend in the bar. So that's ongoing.
So all we'll add to that is that yet again we just have another of like how why
so again.
Yeah, which we're not going to litigate here again for the umpteenth time, but it's the
bar is on borrowed time.
Yeah, it really is. It's just got to go. It's got to. But what it certainly is that it's just going to get closed.
If anyone would like to buy a bar, have a tree change, they are more than welcome. It's actually quite a good living. It's a lifestyle choice, though.
Yeah, again, not the bars. Very, very quickly, as this turns into a sales advertisement, the bar, they're thirds. A third overhead, a third cost of goods sold, and a third profit. So if somebody, a good family business, if a retired couple wanted to... So, retired couples, if there's any watching or listening, I will sell you a nice house in a relatively good area.
We can make it a package deal.
We can make it a package deal. Sell your house in Sydney for 2.5. Retire down here. I've got you. Give me a stick and a half. I'll get you a nice house, a nice retirement bar business. Chuck a car in, and there you go. And put the remaining stick you got in the bank at 3.5% to 4%, and live the dream.
Yeah.
Sit in a bar, read Hemingway. You know, have your own stool and pretend to be Papa. You know, like
yeah. Anyway, so that was the bar. What else did happen? What else happened on the weekend?
That's about it, really.
That's it, really?
Yeah.
I've been to Sydney and back again. So that's why
we haven't really had any podcasts this week.
No. So that was good.
You've been off doing
some working.
Consulting.
Yes, I know. It's very strange. But that all went well. So, yeah, I was in Sydney for, 3 days all up, but I was only working for...
Day and a bit.
12 hours. A full day. I said I started at 8 o'clock in the morning and didn't finish till 8:30 at night because I had a launch event that I was doing, which was lovely. It was nice to be back in Sydney.
No welcome to country.
No welcome to country. No smoking ceremony.
No smoking ceremony.
God.
The budget fortunately didn't stretch quite that far.
God, yes. Anywho. But yeah, so it was nice to be... Again, I saw a few familiar faces, one of my old bosses as well from 20 years
ago. Lots of coffee opportunities if you want some more consulting work.
Yep, he was surprised to see me there, which was funny.
That you've come out of the woodwork.
Yep. And then, as I said, nice to be back in Sydney. So as I said, I finished at, 8 something, and I'm literally at Circular Quay, and then, you walk down outside and Sydney's just buzzing. The Opera House is lit up and trains are going and there's lots of people walking around, and Circular Quay's got ferries coming and going, and it's just very different to here as well. As I said to someone, Sydney people just look different as well.
You definitely see Sydney's always got the reputation, and it has compared to a lot of places, of being rude and...
Oh, really?
And, it can be, and rude and a bit cutthroat.
Jesus.
Yeah. But it's probably just that because I go, I stand in a queue, and like that other time, stand in a queue and talking to some, good-looking blonde woman. How are you, sweetheart? Oh, good. How are you? What's going on? Where are you going? And just start off because we're stuck in a queue. How you doing? Well, you smell nice. What's your name? And that's her to me. And then you just go, doesn't happen in Tasmania. But is it also just the case of because I'm home and I'm more... And I'm dealing with people. The level of dress, there is no comparison.
Yeah, there's a class difference.
There's a massive class. Nothing. If not class, let's be more. There's certainly a different average financial value is higher. Like the net worth's there. So you just see people dress better. There's a
level of self-confidence there as well. I think once you dress better, you feel better, and Sydneysiders certainly think they're better.
We are naturally. You're the one from the Shire, not me.
Fuck off. Shire's great. What else? Yeah, so no, Sydney was good. Spent some time with my parents, which was nice. Didn't see any of my siblings, which was nice. No. That was it, really. Went to Aldi. It's the small things.
All those things.
Went out to lunch a couple of times and went to East Hills Hotel, which is where I used to be a bar bitch 20 plus years ago, and that was interesting. Food's great. That was the other thing. So East Hills Hotel, which is anyone from Sydney, like Revesby, Panania, East Hills is kind of all in the one lump.
A lower middle class suburban.
Yeah, like there's a mechanic across the way that you can see fixing cars. Yeah. So it's not like it's not a fancy pub.
This ain't Double Bay, mate.
No, it's not the Tilbury. It's fine. So nice inside now. They've redone it all. It's all kind of laid out the same.
I was in the Tilbury the other week. I'm telling you that it definitely would be. The Tilbury wasn't anything special at all.
Yeah.
No. Better spot.
But the old boys used to sit out the front. It used to be a solid wall, and they'd have their chairs and stuff out there and have a smoke. Now it's all glass at the front.
Okay. I haven't. I couldn't tell. I've been there. I couldn't tell you.
I said, again, it's not very... Well, it's bigger now, but so there's always been a beer garden at the front, which is always very popular on weekends. People would sit outside, and it's lots of plants and stuff. They've always had that, and like a kind of like a a big fence across the front, but not solid. Like it's like they put in schools these days, to keep people in or out. I'm not sure, but anyway, so they've redone it all very nice. It's got fancy tables.
I'm remembering
and chairs
that car park out the front,
umbrellas and stuff now,
from way back in the day. But
and food's good.
But I haven't been there in
food's really good and cheap. I sent you a picture of the $13.50 lunch specials, and it was full. Because we were going to go to another place, and I looked at, was it that there? And it was too expensive. I was like, I'm not paying that. Was it there? I don't think. No, I think it was Sydney. I think it was here. So I went out to lunch twice. Bangor Tavern. Bangor Tav. And theirs were like $20 for, which is fine.
Still here would bite your arm off.
Yeah, exactly. Here it's $40. And then East Hills has a $13.50 lunch special, and there's 6 things to choose from, but they're all big serves, and salt and pepper squid, and I had pasta with truffle and all that kind of shit. And then their evening dinner specials are like $12.90.
Well, that's the same as me when I was out at Padstow the other week.
Oh, that's right. You went to the Bolo, didn't you?
Same thing. Food was excellent. And I'm drinking 18-year-old Shivers for $10 a glass. And that wasn't that's not with the member discount. I was paying full fare.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Can you afford it?
I'm fine.
Push the boat out.
And then snots on things like, I don't drink blends. It's like, fuck off for $10.
Oh God, who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, not going there. But no, that was really good. That's funny, East Hills. I've got my great grandfather was the founding member of the St George's Motorbike Club. That's kind of ish to there, isn't it?
That's nowhere near there,
isn't
right?
it? This is where I embarrass myself. Well, where am I thinking?
You're thinking Tarrant Point.
Oh yeah. East Hills, Tarrant Point.
No. Fucking hell! Not even close.
I keep thinking I got family around there, and it's like no. Well, closer would still be Picnic Point
across the river.
Yeah. Well, I keep thinking that the St George's Motorboat Club's like near Picnic Point, and it's not.
No.
So that's why I was thinking I was close. But yes, Tarrant Point, which is
But Mum
might as well be in the Tilbury.
Yeah, Mum actually drove me the old way around that I used to drive to go to work. So there's 2 ways you can go across the train line and go down one side, and it's all like residential. Well, it was, or you can come kind of back round through. There's like East Hills Public School and East Hills Girls High School and that kind of stuff, and through Panania. There's a red rooster there that I used to stop on the way to get some food and change into my bar clothes.
When was that last time in Panania?
Panania is great. Panania has grown a little bit. There's multiple bakeries and there's cafes.
Still looks like Panania though.
Still looks 100% like Panania.
I went to Panania.
But I was surprised at how many cars and people. And it goes it's not just one main high street now. It kind of goes down to the left to the station. So I was like, next time I should come and have lunch here because there's little restaurants and very good.
I keep forgetting. Well, that's again a part of my geographical challenges. The fact that I'm, geographically retarded. I keep forgetting that Picnic Point and Padstow and all of that—they're all pretty close.
But there's a river in the way.
There is a river in the way, but I keep forgetting that sort of area. So again, when I've got a cousin that's in that area, and they go, "Oh, we'll meet at Padstow RSL," it's like, or Padstow Bowling Club, it's like, it's fucking miles away. It's like, no, it's not. It's just there. It's
on the train
courtesy
line,
bus
Padstow,
distance.
Revesby, Panania,
Kingsgrove.
No, Kingsgrove is way back.
Yeah.
I messaged
Kingsgrove's the big gap, isn't there? Or is it Walleye Creek to Kingsgrove? There's one that's quite wide.
Walleye Creek. Well, there's stations in the Allawa, not Allawa.
You never stop at those.
I always get on the train that stops on those.
Oh, really?
But like Narwee and things like that. What's the one that's first after? I can't remember now. The one after.
Good me, you're retarded. No, anyway.
Anywho, but so it was nice.
That's right. I think Tarrant Point's in East Hills.
No. So anywho.
George's River's kind of nearby.
Yeah, you can throw a rock from East Hills Hotel and hit the Georges River. There was a dude in the...
Do you know why I keep thinking it's all there? Because you go to the St George's Motorboat Club and get in your motorboat, and then 3 seconds later you're in East Hills.
Yeah.
Because you're in some ridiculous boat doing a zip, some cashed up bogan thing with 1,000 horses hanging off the back of it.
So I actually pointed out a guy in the beer garden to Mum when we were there, because I said, oh look, he's picking up his fishing rods and his tackle box and everything. He'd obviously gone down to catch some fish, had no luck, came up, had a beer and had a lunch, and then buggering off home. So, but no, that was very good. So no, I enjoyed that. No dramas on the flight wise, which was good. So,
and that's about it. I think that's it. This is just a quick one to get started again.
Yeah.
But I said the bar is a pain in the hole, and so now I've got this. So now I'm going to have to be suing someone for a few grand, at least. Like, unless somehow they manage to unstuff a mattress and come to the party, and hopefully, which again I'm going to be less...
They're both employed, which is a plus.
It makes it very easy to garnish their wages, but I'm hoping I'm going to play it with a much straight... I'm not going to be angry. I was angry before. I'm not going to be angry.
That's past now.
That's past. We're past anger. We're now in the bargaining phase. and just be very matter of fact about it, and recommend, okay, well, if you want to do that, well, there's a process we're going to go through, and you should start with getting a lawyer, because I need to speak to a grown-up, because you're an idiot. And that's speaking to the mother, like, you're an idiot because you're getting the best deal in the world. You're getting a wholesale, just give me the money.
Yeah, just fix what you broke.
Fix what you think at cost, no problem. Because otherwise, it's like, well, you're going to have all of that plus all my expenses, because I'm just going to give it to a lawyer. It's like, you sick him, Rex. Yeah. And then
it's just going to go cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
And then you'll still have to pay charged. And that thing. And then it's like, well, let's get you charged as well. Let's give you more problems. Yeah. You know. It's really, really dumb. Anyway, that's all.
Nothing really too exciting this week on for us. Tomorrow's Anzac Day, so everyone had fun at dawn services if you're going. Yeah. If they're on. I told you about that. There was something on the news when I left Sydney about Warrenora, which is near where my mum and dad live, not being allowed to have their dawn service until 7 a.m. because the police apparently couldn't send someone to crowd control, because it's quite a big service that they have there. I think they have a couple of hundred people.
At Warrenora, is it at the
I think it's down at the RSL club.
Not at the graveyard.
Not at the cemetery. I'm not sure. But Warrenora Cemetery is not in Warrenora. It's at Sutherland. So
it's called Warrenora Cemetery.
Waniora.
Waniora, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway.
Again, half my family's in it.
Yeah, some of mine are in there too. Yeah. Anyway, so there's a big hoo-ha, and I didn't hear whether it was resolved or not, but yeah, they said you can't have your dawn service till 7 a.m, and everyone's like, are you serious? Do you understand what a dawn service is? So, interesting to see whether or not that got resolved. So, anywho.
Alright, cool. Alright, so off you go, my children.
Beware of wolves, you're going to go to bed.
Watch out for wolves and morons trying to murder themselves.
Oh, God.
And glass, and unfortunately not actually managing it.
Have a good week.
We wish them all the best. We wish them well. We wish you well. We wish them well as well.
I'm good.
See you.
Bye.